anyone with half a brain knows Joe Burrow is elite. Like, that's my opinion. I think he's a phenomenal top 5 quarterback in the league always. Fans are questioning it because of a loss when they've been eliminated from the playoffs. This guy takes a beating year after year with that offensive line. Pressure in his face in milliseconds. The interception he threw, the pick 6 he threw, he got swallowed. This offensive line can't handle simple 4-man rushes. Simple. They let guys go unblocked at Joe Burrow. And people argue he's got 2-star receivers, Chase, Higgins. That's true, but that is not enough to do anything in the league. People say elite quarterbacks need excuses. They don't need excuses. Like, I don't understand it. Like, how do you not see? How are you so ignorant? How are you so idiotic to see what's right in front of you, that Joe Burrow does everything he can? What can Joe Burrow do that would take them to the playoffs? Honestly, like what more can he do besides maybe not starting as slow as he has every single season?
Well, I think we can all agree that Joe Burrow is one of the 5 best quarterbacks in this league. But my issue is Joe Burrow just rarely gets blamed. And what I mean by that is, listen, so this guy, right, Joe Burrow, whenever the Bengals lose, you always hear, it's the O-line, the cheap organization, the coaches, it's the defense. And I'm not saying that isn't true. Those are factors. But this quarterback in the last 6 quarters has double interceptions as touchdowns. This quarterback now has missed the playoffs in each of the last 3 seasons in his prime. Now, half of that is because he hasn't been healthy all the time, and that is true. But those first 2 seasons, right, the guy started off slow, and it costed them. And now this season, he starts on time, but he gets hurt. And when he comes back and wins against Baltimore on Thanksgiving, the Bengals were poised to run the table because the AFC North is in disarray. Well, now they're dead because he decides to throw 2 interceptions in the 4th quarter up against Buffalo and blow a 10-point lead. And now he scores 0 points at home against Baltimore. Again, I think Joe Burrow is in a tough spot because his organization's cheap. T. Higgins wasn't playing. The defense isn't that good. He's got a lame duck head coach. And I think he's been getting beat up in an Andrew Luck-style way. But whenever the Bengals lose, it's always like, oh, Joe Burrow can't do no wrong. Free Burrow. It's like, why is this guy, so blame-free? This guy, he's got multiple interceptions in the last 6 quarters. He's not helping.
You know what? And I'm not going to deny the fact that Burrow against the Bills, where he honestly had a flawless game besides those 2 interceptions, which lost him the game. Like, that's just what it is. And against the Ravens, I mean, one went off Chase's hands. The other one was the offensive line just blowing up. I mean, they sent a huge pressure blitz on him. It happens. The O-line is just historically bad. But I agree with you. Like, there is some blame to go to Burrow because at the end of the day, as a Bills fan, I watch Josh Allen take the Bills to the playoffs every year. And the Bills, although the team is a little bit better than Cincinnati's, it's not like astronomically different. Like, Josh Allen does a lot with very little. But I think with Joe Burrow, the thing is like, he can't make mistakes. Jalen Hurts can make mistakes in Philly. Matthew Stafford can make mistakes with the Rams. And he doesn't tend to make mistakes, but when he does, he has the team, he has the support system, the structure built around him where they can bounce back from it. Burrow makes a mistake or two, game's pretty much over. So I think when people criticize him, you also have to understand, like, yeah, he's a problem at points. Like, he can throw a few interceptions. That can cost them the game. But, like, what are you going to do? Like, where is the defense that can get a stop for you when your quarterback throws a bad interception? Where is the complementary football? That's what's missed in Cincinnati. At the end of the day, Steve, like, something's got to change. Obviously, you've mismanaged Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. Obviously, the contract to Higgins was, in my opinion, a joke. Should have never happened. You didn't need to do it. But also, it's like, what were you going to do with the money? I don't trust this front office to make decisions to put anybody else around Burrow. Like, it's just a complete mess. It's a complete mess. You can't describe it like anything else.
Well, the T. Higgins thing, listen, I've been on this since day one, that the T. Higgins contract was 1,000 the guy that they had to sign. It was just they botched the entire process where they should have signed him a year or two earlier. Could have saved a couple, like $5 million. Because you look at yesterday's game, without T. Higgins, I mean, come on. Outside of Jamar Chase, can you name a single Bengals wide receiver? Part of the reason why Burrow had so much trouble is because if Jamar Chase is going to get double teamed here or taken out of the play, I'm looking over at who? Like, I can't get a first down if that's my second receiver. Because look at their offense against Buffalo. Although it was Buffalo's defense isn't all that good, when they had both wide receivers outside of the Burrow interceptions, they were just rattling off touchdown after touchdown because they had the two wide receivers. That's why I'm pro Dallas go re-sign George Pickens, because I think a lot of people, and this is sometimes what kind of pisses me off about all these NFL analysts and football guys, is they always like undervalue wide receivers. Look at all these top offenses in the league. Unless you have Josh Allen, who is just like an offensive engine in his own right, a lot of these quarterbacks need two wide receivers. The Rams, they don't have a mobile quarterback. So look how good they're doing with Devontae and Puka. You need two. A Joe Burrow, who's more of like a Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning had Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. So like these more mobile quarterbacks who are in the pocket, unlike Lamar, who can kind of just play by himself, maybe with just one wide receiver, they need the two wide receivers. So I've always been pro T. Higgins. I just thought they botched the situation, and they scored 0 points last night with T. Higgins.
The thing with T. Higgins, too, is he just misses a handful of games. Like, he's missed
true.
half a season these past few years, and that just doesn't help. But you're right, Steve. Like, we do kind of overlook this whole receiver situation because I think the common saying for them is like they're a dime a dozen, right? Kind of like in fantasy when you're drafting receivers, you feel like you can get one later in the draft that'll do well. Yeah. But what I think will burn the Seahawks this year, what I think will burn the Steelers, is ultimately their lack of weapons. DK's great. JSN is great. But who do you turn to on, third down when that guy's double? Now, the Seahawks went out and got Rashid Shaheed. That's great, deep ball threat. But what was burning them early on in the season, and I don't know necessarily if he's been established as like the guy Darnold can look to, and maybe it's just a Darnold issue. Anyways, I digress. You kind of do need multiple options in an offense. And it wasn't, like you said, the fact that they went and got T. Higgins. It's just they deal with contracts so poorly. And it's the same thing that happened in Dallas. It's like, hey, if you made the deals with CD and Dak and Mike on time, maybe you could have all three, but you didn't. And it kind of collapsed. And that's where it gets a little bit messy. The Bengals didn't. They decided to pay him, and now it's like you're scratching your head. Now you don't know what's going on. And Trey Hendrickson, too, I mean, that's been a disastrous situation this year. It's just a whole lot of garbage in one organization that has missed the playoffs with pretty elite, talented quarterback and a former Triple Crown receiver just a few years removed now. Like, it's pretty bad.